Hello, knockouts. TonyaTko here, and I'm the author of How to Love Yourself Even When There Seems No Reason to. 2 years ago, I had a really successful business, a skincare business, where I talked about abundance and self-love and really manifesting. And I closed my business to pursue my dream of the TonyaTko show of working with people one-on-one in seminars and getting down there on the ground floor and really helping people enact change and live up to their highest expression of themselves. And along the way, I hit some roadblocks which left me with no money, living in my car, and becoming the laughing stock of the internet. In fact, I lived in my car for an entire year as I tried to put the pieces back together and tried to build a more sturdy foundation. And the longer I persisted and continued to live in my car, the more people laughed and the more vitriol, anger, and a lot of just venomous talk, activities, posts, etc. just came out about me. Today, I was actually, you know what, it's been a long time since I felt inspired to just create an uplifting video. And so I guess I really am back. And if you see by my super fly, flawless skin, there may be something else that's back too, but I'm not saying anything. If you're on my mailing list, you'll be the first to know. So listen, today we're going to talk about how to get out of tremendous adversity and come out on the other side unscathed, well, maybe not unscathed, but how to really navigate through adversity and come out on the other side. Today I was contacted by a young lady who was in an abusive relationship. Abusive situations are my trigger, so I couldn't work with her one-on-one with that, but I gave her some recommendations for other outlets that she could look into. And, you know, she thanked me, and as I was bidding her adieu today, I gave her some words, and I was like, you know, it's not easy, but you just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Just keep on moving. And that's what we're going to talk about today. How do you navigate when everything is just crumbling? And that's what the book that I wrote is about. Like when everything is just crumbling all around you, how do you continue to love yourself? But how do you get out of the situation? The very first thing that you have to do is give thanks. Give thanks. Look around at your situation. I did a video many years ago where I talked about how in grade school, I couldn't wait to get to high school. In high school, I couldn't wait to get to college. When I was in college, I couldn't wait to be an adult. Then I was in my 20s. I couldn't wait to get into my 30s. And I promised that day that I was not going to just sit idly by hoping for some time in the future for me to be happy. And so I'm going to implore you, please, take the opportunity right now to find happiness with what it is that you have right now. Look at the beauty of it. You know, it's like when I was in middle school, my mother ironed my uniforms for me. When I was in high school, she cooked breakfast for me. When I got to college, my mother was dead. And so it's like these different stages that we hope to get to. We're like, oh, I'll be happy then. Happiness is not some elusive thing that is contingent. And if your happiness is contingent upon something else, then that is not truly your happiness. That happiness is attached to what you feel. It is contingent upon. And if you no longer have that, then how do you continue to be happy? You know, remember I said that I talked about abundance and manifesting before. When I had my business, I had a lot of money. I used to eat organic foods every day. You know, let me give a quick caveat, right? When I was living in my car and I started gaining weight, people were like, oh, you can't really be this place. Why are you gaining weight? Child, listen, being fit is the thing of the wealthy. Okay, no, let me not put it like that. But really eating well, eating nutritious foods, working out, having a personal trainer and all that other stuff, that stuff comes with, first of all, not being so stressed out that you can't put your mind in that frame. Like there are things that require or that are a part of having the leisureliness to be able to, can you imagine having can you imagine that we live in a society where Can you, I mean, if cavemen had to see us inside of a room, lifting, squatting, bending, doing all these things, they would be like, what is really happening in the future that we have such leisure to have no other manual labor except us having to force ourselves to go to the gym to simulate manual labor? I mean, imagine the leisureliness of that lifestyle. But that was just a segue, but let me get back to my other point. It's like when the money was gone and I couldn't eat my organic foods and I couldn't sleep like how I wanted to sleep when I was tired, and I had no privacy, and I couldn't relax and even use the bathroom alone, and I just was always stimulated by people all around me, the sunlight and the car and the always at Starbucks and always having to take a shower at the gym and just really not having any privacy or alone time. When all of the things that I coveted before were gone, how did I continue to find value in myself and worth in myself and love for myself? How do you continue when all of the things that your happiness before were contingent upon, if those things are taken away? I know so many mothers whose children grow up, they identify so deeply with motherhood or their relationships that when their children grow up, they don't know who they are. Or if their relationship goes, they don't know what they are. If I am not a wife, if I am not a mother anymore, then what am I? When our jobs go, we talked about last week when I made that video, we talked about the 5 stages of loss. And yes, your children leaving the home, you losing a job, you losing your health, things changing drastically. These are all items of loss. And I remember when I was going through my stages last year, people started saying that they felt that I was mentally ill because I felt grief. Allow yourself to feel your emotions. They're okay. They're okay. Forgive yourself. Like that woman in the abusive situation, there'd be so many people like, oh, you must like getting hit. Oh, why don't you just get out? Oh, you must. But there's so many other things that happen. Sometimes it's not as easy as that. Because of the work that I had done all my life, well, after my mother died, and I had to patch back together my esteem. I mean, growing up in the ghetto as a young overweight girl in the Bronx and being undereducated and all of these other things, it's like the work that I had done prepared me. It's easy. We can talk about loving yourself, but it's not until those things start to crumble. But the work that I had done had already fortified my self-love. It had been so deeply grounded and rooted into who it is that I am. But had I not had that foundation that I created, what would have happened to me last year? Love yourself. Find ways to love yourself. And I'm going to finish writing the book so that you can read that and enact some of the tools from the book. But that was just number 1. Number 1 had all of those A, B, C's, and D's in there. Take notes, right? Number 2, find the lesson. Find the lessons in what you're going through. Sometimes when I was making my videos last year, people were like, oh, you think too much. Sometimes it's not that deep. Find the lesson. Don't listen. I'm the one making the video, and I'm telling you what it took for me to get through my hard time. Find the lesson. Why is this happening? Why did you, on a soul level, call forth this into your life? Where is the blessing in that lesson? That's number 2. And number 3, one foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. Just keep on moving. Listen, one of the beauties, my near-death experience just came to mind, and I thought about the blood that pumps through our veins. And one of the beauties of being alive is that something is always in motion. That blood keeps moving, it keeps pumping. That heart, without resting from the day that it began to beat, it keeps on beating. Brain continues to fire off those synapses, and baby, there are things always in motion. Do the same. Find a way to keep moving, even if it's a baby step, one foot in front of the other. Or if you're down on your knees, baby, one knee, oh, keep moving. You ever notice that a baby, before a baby even learns how to walk, even before the baby learns how to crawl, you put the baby down there somewhere. And then you look around, the baby's up here somewhere. Because even though they can't crawl, they move those elbows. They move and they drag and they just keep on moving, keep on moving. People thought I was crazy when I kept trying to produce shows and I was trying to take classes and I was going to networking events, and people thought that I was crazy. They were like, why don't you get out of your situation? Things don't stop. They don't. Baby, listen. They don't stop. Every day. Things keep turning inside. You remember we talked about that pumping blood. Every day as your cells begin to regenerate, they regenerate just a little bit less. And that's how we age, just a little bit less each day. Each time they regenerate just a little bit less. And so things keep moving. And even if you think things have not changed, oh honey, nothing is the same. You are not the same. You will never be this person twice, ever. What is it that you can learn from this situation? What can you glean from this situation? What can you take from this situation? How do you continue to reinvent and become that person of the future who you are destined to be? The person that you came into this life to be. What do you need to do to get there? Oh, don't stop. Keep on moving. Keep on moving. Don't stop. No! Okay. Keep on moving. Don't stop. I'm serious about that. So I hope that could be, if there's one thing that you can take away from this video, please keep on moving. Figure out what is it that person of the future needs to become that person, and begin to put the foundation in there. And you know what? Oh yes, people laughed. Oh, they laughed. You know what? I remember when I was in high school, just as we were graduating, some of the girls had gotten pregnant. You know, some of them who had already started, they ended up pregnant. And you know, you're like, I gotta keep on moving. I'm going to college. I'm gonna do my thing, you know. And now as I look back on Facebook, and we're all the same age, some of them got 18 and 20-year-old kids. Oh yes, honey. Yeah, some of them got 18 and 20-year-old kids, and when all is said and done, they still made it through. They made it through. It's like all of that stuff that your parents told you, oh, don't get pregnant, oh, don't this or don't that. And even if you do, you still, life continues to move. You still make it through no matter what. And I hope that if my situation could inspire you to do anything, is to do something. Do something. How many of the people who laughed at me are in the same position right now? How many of them? Afraid. They laugh at me because they're like, yeah, you know what? That's why I don't try. Because that could happen. That's why I'm staying right here. Because look, oh, I knew I shouldn't have done anything because look what happened to her. That ain't gonna happen to me. All right. But look, I moved. I did something. I tried. I jumped all in. Balls to the wall if I had balls. It's just ovaries doesn't rhyme with anything. Ovaries to the stoveries doesn't rhyme. So balls to the wall. I went all in. I went all in, and look. Life keeps moving. We keep on moving. It always will be all right. In the end, everything will be all right. And if it's not all right, then it's not the end. I may have stumbled and tripped and fell and bruised and all of this stuff along the way, but I'm not in the same place that I was before, unhappy and miserable. I'm not. And if you knew some of the things that are happening behind the scenes, even without the things that are happening behind the scenes, even I, as a human being, I am changed. It's like a flower. It's like, how do you beckon a flower to bloom? It takes its time. It does. And if you try to pull it apart before then, before it's ready, you do not have a flower. Just have something all scratched up, but it takes its time. And I needed the experience of last year to help me bloom into the woman that I am right now. When I asked, hear me, when I asked to become who it is that I am going to be in the future, there were things that needed to happen in the past. Oh, to get me there. Ah! Okay, all right, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Oh, goodness. All right, you know what? Listen, if you made it to the end of the video, I want you to put your stamp on it. I want you to tell me, what is it that you're going to do differently? What are you going to do to continue to put one foot in front of the other? To put the pieces in place to become that person of the future that is waiting for you to grow into? Like I told you all, if the Tonya of the future has a PhD, what is it that I need to do today in order to get prepared for that? If the Tonya of the future, it's like we think of these moments as these disjointed moments that happen. Oh, this, and then, oh, when I get that, but these moments, just like when I started this video, these moments are tied together. So, okay, when will you begin to put the pieces in place? If the you of the future is out of an abusive relationship, what is it that you need to do today? If the you of the future is toned up and muscled down or thin or even larger, what is it that you need to begin to do today? What are the pieces, the little step, the little elbow on the floor? Those of you who have ever seen kids, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They can't crawl, they can't walk, but they end from one side of the room to the other. How? Look at them. And you see one elbow, they do not stop. They'll, like little glowworms, they'll move their little body. They make it. They do it. And forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. It's all right, the baby. It's all right. Listen, I stumbled last year. It's okay. I fell down in front of everyone. And the people who were laughing, they were laughing from their own insecurities about not going after their own dreams. And while they are where they are, afraid to have moved 1 year older, I am 1 year older too, but I'm not in the same place that I was before. I am not. And what about you? So if you made it to the end of this video, put your stamp on it in writing. I'm going to read the comments and I will respond back to you. I will respond back to you. If you comment within the first 2 days of this video, I will respond back to you. Tell me, what are you going to do to put your stamp on it, to become the you of the future? What are you going to do to put one elbow, one knee in front of the other? And if you feel comfortable enough, listen, talk about what it is that you will forgive yourself for. I forgive myself for not having a backup plan or for cashing out my safety nets. That situation last year could have been totally avoided if I would have kept my safety nets in place. I didn't realize I forgive myself. It's okay. I needed that situation to become the woman that I am right now. I needed to be able to diversify my bank accounts, to diversify my businesses and have multiple entities lined up. That's what I needed. What is it that you need? Honey, listen, I love you. I do. Go out there and love one another. But most importantly, what? Say it. Most importantly, love yourself. And loving yourself is letting ego down to let a new idea in. Loving yourself is going out and seeking help from other people who may have gone through that already. Loving yourself is forgiving yourself first. We can go out there and forgive so many other people, but forgiving ourselves is sometimes so difficult. Okay, you stumbled, you fall. It's all right. It's all right. Who you are right now and who you are in the future are two different people. What can you do to become that person? It's all right. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Just like, listen, if you're in an abusive relationship, if you're losing your job, if you're ill, what is it that exists beyond this moment for you? What is it that exists? Listen, I love you. I love you. Let me hug you. Oh. All right. I love you so much. So very much. I gave the closing already. I said it. I'll say it again. Go out there and love one another. But most importantly, love yourself. And I'm going to look for your comments below. Remember, first 2 days. TonyaTko. And I'm out. And if this video helped you in any way, I'd love to hear that too. Super fly, flawless, baby.